Hello, this is JoyNews Desk with me, Mamiesi Yamiche Thompson. Coming up, Vice President to visit Kete Krachi to commiserate with families of the boat accident victims. Meanwhile, the Transport Committee considers inviting the OT Regional Minister and the Maritime Authority to Parliament as it seeks answers to the recurrent boat accidents that claimed at least 61 lives since 2022.
Then we have to ensure that we have to let them see the importance of wearing the life jacket. Then we have to ensure that we make the life jackets available at every point, every crossing point.
Also this morning, coalition of Krobo groups protest bad roads in the area, ask government to fix dilapidated stretch. These plus some business updates on our desk. I'll be right back.
We have
Welcome back. Now, Vice President J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman is expected in Kete Krachi today to commiserate with families of victims of last weekend's tragic boat accident on the Volta Lake. The accident claimed 16 lives, including 11 children. OT Regional Minister John Kwejo-Japon has hinted that authorities are considering a new regulation that will make it illegal for anyone to live on the lake's 120 islands without owning a life jacket.
What we're going to do is that anybody who wants to stay on the island should make it a point to have life jackets on their island, so that whenever they are going to travel, they should put their life jackets on. And that one, we are going to enforce it. If you come around and you don't have life jackets, and we know that you are from the island or whatever, and you come to where the enforcing agents are, who have to take you on, so that at least we have to start enforcing the rules regularly. It is very, very important, because otherwise this would not stop. Because, like I said, there are a lot of islands on the Volta Lake, where some of them even stay and never come to town the whole year. They stay there and do their livelihood. They fish, they farm, they do everything there, send people to come and sell their produce for them. And so it is difficult to enforce any laws, in people who are not around, which you may not be seeing anytime.
Meanwhile, Parliament's Transport Committee is considering inviting the OT Regional Minister and officials of the Ghana Maritime Authority to explain why enforcement of safety regulations remain weak despite repeated tragedies. Vice President, Road and Transport Committee of Parliament, Andrew Chiwete Dari, says Parliament is ready to support the Minister and the Maritime Authority to deal with the issue.
I'm the Vice Chair, not the Chairman of the committee. I Vice Chair the committee. But you see, these are disasters. They are things that sometimes it's very difficult to control. That is why we encourage people to protect themselves. And so, you see, they have indicated clearly that some of the areas, even with the life jackets provided, but people are not willing to use the life jackets. So what is important is for us to ensure that before a boat moves, all the passengers must wear life jackets. That will be the first step. Places that they do not have life jackets, the NADMO director will have to take some assessment. He should do a very comprehensive assessment for us to know areas that we need to supply the life jackets immediately, so that we work on that as the immediate solution to that. Then when they are provided, the enforcement must be applied. Like I said,
and how would you propose that we enforce the safety regulations?
That is why we have district assemblies.
Okay.
We have assembly members. We have unit committee members. All these people must be called and be educated. We have to create awareness in the first place. Let people see the importance of wearing the life jackets. Otherwise, people think that I can swim, and so I don't even need it. But let them know that even if you can swim, you still have to wear the life jacket. If you don't wear it, you can get to the middle of the lake, and it's difficult for you to swim ashore. And so we have to let them see the importance of wearing the life jacket. then we have to ensure that we make the life jackets available at every point, every crossing point. We must have life jackets available. And then we enforce. Then the maritime authority, if, like I said, if they are handicapped and they need some legal backup, that is why we are there. We are available to assist in that area. But for me, I don't think we should continue to be blaming. Look, we blame the politician. The politician can provide, but whether the person that is supposed to use it.
Well, let's head to Kete Krachi, get updates with Obrin Pomba Owusu. He's with our sister station, JoyNews. Obrin Pomba, so how far or how are families dealing with the loss, especially 7 people coming from one family? How are they dealing with the loss of their loved ones? Obrin Pomba, if you can hear me, I'm asking how families whose relatives have died in this tragic accident are dealing with the loss. Unfortunately, we just lost Obrin Pomba on the line. We're still trying to establish contact with him and get updates from, Kete Krachi. We also understand that the Vice President is there and will be commiserating with the families of the deceased. Kwame, if you can hear me, what's the current situation where you are?
Well, as we all know, the tragedy that occurred on Saturday evening, where about 22 persons were traveling on the waterway to a community in Krachi West, where about 16 people counted that lost their lives on the river. As we speak, the children who were among the 16 people who lost their lives have been laid to rest, and 12 of them bodies have been deposited at Kete Krachi Morgue and Rural Government Hospital. And the Navy and the NADMO have also been intensifying their campaign to also create awareness on the river as how people need to travel with their life jackets, and also some other safety protocols that they need to observe when traveling on the waterway. As we speak now, the Vice President, Her Excellency Jenan Okuku-Agyeman, will be visiting the community and also share her condolences with the family. So we are waiting for arrival of the Vice President, Her Excellency Okuku-Agyeman, to arrive at Zambai by 11 p.m. Then soon we will move to Bukakope to also visit the family members or the 3 family members over there.
Well, Obrin Pomba, what's been the change since the incident happened? How are the community members now approaching, passage on the Volta Lake?
Traveling on the Volta Lake, as we know, is one of the major issues that is happening here. And I know the issue that the minister also raised was about life jacket, people not adhering to safety protocols on the river. So we want to see how the authorities here will also intensify their campaign for residents here to adhere to the safety protocols when traveling. The community is already in a state of mourning, as we know. They are not known for fishing activities. They are into farming. But anytime they want to travel to the other side to mourn with their family or to do any activities with their relatives who are also at the river bodies or the overbank, sometimes they do travel with this. That's where this incident happened. So I think with what happened, they will also adopt new strategy as to how and when they want to travel on the river with any safety protocol that they need to adhere to.
Right, Obrin Pomba, thank you for that update. We'll be coming to you as and when we get the latest from the Vice President, and you heard the Obrin Pomba giving us updates on the boat tragedy in Kete Krachi. We'll come back to the Krobo enclave, where in the eastern region, where some residents are protesting the deplorable state of the roads. And Kwame Yanka is with us on the line. Kwame Yanka, what can you report? Kindly unmute and speak to us, Kwame. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get Kwame Yanka on the line, but we'll do that later in subsequent bulletins. Now, moving on Global Info Analytics has been receiving or reviewing performance of some members of parliament, detailing how 83 MPs have fared these past months. Executive Director Musa Dankwa joins us on the line. We also have Dr. Kwame Esasante, political analyst or scientist from the University of Ghana, and Clement Akolo, Director of Communications, Parliamentary Network Africa. Grateful for your time on our desk this morning, gentlemen. Let me start with...
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, too, for being with us. Now, let me start with a researcher. What led to the choice of MPs that you used in your survey this time around?
Thank you very much. We don't choose which MP we accept. When we are doing our national tracking pool, we randomly select a number of constituencies. And when we are assessing other issues of national importance, we do ask them to assess how their MPs have performed. Use scale of excellent, very good, good, neutral, poor, or very poor. So whilst we are there doing other things, we take the opportunity to ask them how they can rate or how they rate their MPs. So these areas are selected randomly without our interfering.
Are the questions also random, or are there specific questions of performance that you put to your respondents?
No, we ask them, how would you rate the performance of your MP? Would you give him excellent, very good, good, very poor, poor, or neutral? These are the questions we ask them about the MPs, and nothing more.
And looking from your findings, it shows that most of the NPP MPs are not performing really well. They are performing below average. What's accounting for this?
In fact, I have not taken a personal interest to look at specific party candidates or who is doing what. We just put this data out there generally. But you would understand, I mean, if that is what the data is showing, MPP itself is going through the organization, and the focus at the moment of the MP is probably not on the constituency per se, but on national issues, trying to sort out themselves. And that could have impact on how they see them. Maybe they're not visible as the NDC guys, and that may be the reason why they're not seen as doing as well as the NDC candidates.
Well, I'm bringing Dr. Asasante in at this time round. What do you make of these findings, Doc?
I always commend people who do research, especially when it's not a sponsored party research. Then it tells you that a lot has gone in terms of resource, both human and material, and it's for the benefit of the country and for political parties. So that is my position all the time, to commend him, to go to the ground and pick data and let's look at them. That said, I want Mr. Dankwa to be able to assist me, if you permit me, to deal with some of the questions on my mind so that I can have better perspective in dealing with all the data. I want to find out, Mr. Dankwa, the criteria for measuring performance. Which criteria did you use and why? Because there are lots in there when you're saying performance criteria. Which one? You are looking at people who are not only MPs, but they are also representatives in their community. So which criteria did you use? I want to know that. Did your data collection or your instrument, did it factor the promises given by these people and as to whether they are being fulfilled at this time? Did you also include in your calculations the promises by the political party prior to the election and whether the people have started working on them? And then, of course, I want to also find out where people are not performing well. What accounts for this? Is it the case that they don't have resources? Because I don't know whether the common fund, has been given to MPs to help them in the development programs in their area. Where are they getting resources? So if they are not performing, how can somebody also hold them answerable and all that? And then I want to also find out from him whether the criteria includes their role as MPs or is only at the constituencies. And then my last question, is that I want to find out whether there are specific constituency issues that feature in this assessment which the people talk about, and that also contribute to the rating. Though they are a little tall, but I know Mr. Dankwa has what it takes to surmount them.
Right, thank you very much. Look, we are not party researchers. We should not be expected to go and do all this work for these parties or for these MPs at no cost to them. We were in the constituency and we asked them, as we did for the president, do you approve or disapprove the performance of the president? And they told us what they think. And we asked them, how would they rate the performance of their MP? On the scale of excellent, very good, good. There's no any other further question that we asked them. These were the only questions we asked them. If somebody wants to do further probing, we've given them the lead, they can go there and do further probe. We're not there as pollsters to spend hours and hours digging on these issues.
Yeah, let me find out. Does it pose, does it do the research good by saying that?
It's a poll, not a research. Let's draw a line between a poll and a research. Yes, opinion poll, you have few minutes with the voter on the street. You ask few questions and you go. The polls may reveal areas of interest that you researchers can go and probe further. We should not be looking to do everything with the outcome for an opinion poll.
But let me come in here. What was the intent of this poll, Musa Dankwa? Really, what was the brain or the reason behind undertaking this poll?
You know, before the last election, we released what we call the predictions of the seat MPP is going to win and NDC is going to win, and where we think the risks were too close to call. The result of that analysis, what we call the MRP mode, is built on this kind of assessment we do every quarter of the MPs. These are the input into the MRP mode. So whilst we are there, we will ask them, and we'll tell them what they've told us. Over time, that will establish a good trend, which we use to establish who will lose his seat and who will win the seat.
Right. So this is to show their chances when it comes to voting for them as MPs.
It will eventually help us to know that they will retain their seat or not. But it's early days here.
Indeed.
We'll do several of these polls before the election. And with the combination of several polls, it will give us a fair idea of what will happen to those seats. Remember, in the last election, we got almost over 270 or 60 seats correct, using the same model.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, I'd like to refer to Dr. Asante-Assante's question again about the criteria used to measure performance, the type of questions. If you're asking the respondents, will it be a fair assessment to ascertain that indeed they're performing well or not? Will it be fair, the kind of questions you're putting to the respondents?
Let me go back again and say, this is a poll, an opinion poll, snappy. We did the same thing for the president. How would you rate the performance of the president? Or do you approve or disapprove his performance? We don't give you any criteria. It's for you to look at what you have seen from what he's done in the few months to tell us whether you approve of it or you don't approve of it. Those were the questions. These are opinion poll questions, not in-depth research questions. We should draw a line between in-depth research and opinion poll. They're not the same.
But this is supposed to affect a certain outcome, is it not?
No. It helps us to determine eventually with several data who would lose his seat or win his seat. And for them, if they see these numbers, they can begin to commission their own surveys to find out what is happening. And they can use people like Mr. Asante to do that one. We haven't got time to do that long survey in each constituency.
Right. I refer to you, Dr. Asante, if you're satisfied with these responses.
I am not. It's Mr. Dankwa saying that even if you are doing opinion polling, that anything that they tell you, when you bring it out, we should run with it. Would it be a fair assessment to say that somebody is not performing because it's simply an opinion? There must be a certain basics out of which you can also write your report and people can reason and say, well, if that is the case, then you realize that that's a difficult, because then you can go to anybody, he can just tell you a story. But that said, there is also one of the things that he used to do this research by looking at what ethnicity, the people that you talk to in terms of their ethnic, background. And you realize that it's skewed towards accounts. Of course, when you are doing random, obviously you will not be able to know who and
who.
But it tells you that a study like this, you can make more capital on this. Because, look, otherwise it can also undermine the research I follow. That random, you will not be, anybody you pick, I mean, it doesn't really matter. But for detailed analysis, if you're looking at performance, I'm afraid, then the sampling technique cannot be random alone. You can be looking at something. Stratify, for instance, and if you are doing a simple, work by collecting opinions, I'm saying that, you will not be able to know this. But if you want to do a thorough work and then you want to make this, performance document worth a salt, then we go beyond what it's doing. Otherwise, it can be an ordinary type of conversation that I follow. That when you are looking at opinion, you are looking at a very few things. But how much significance or premium can you put on this document?
Look. Don't expect the opinion or the poster to go and do the work of other people.
I know.
We are there for our own purpose. We collect what we need. We give you insight. The rest is up to you. That's what research is about. We're not there to do in-depth research. Look, and when you are saying this data is skewed towards accounts, statistically, what is the account proportion to the rest? What you see there is in line with the statistics. It is no way out. So accounts are around 47% of the population. What's the account number in the sample? It's the same. So we shouldn't be making such a comment that is skewed. It's not skewed. Look, we go there to do a purpose. And research will have an objective. You may have a different objective. Don't expect my research to meet your objective. That's not what we are supposed to do.
Well,
nobody has said so.
Well,
I cannot determine the objective for you, but when you do, that objective must be
but it's
subject
also
to
open to interpretation, right?
Yes. Because how much premium do you want us to put on this? If you are saying all that you've said, is anything to go by?
My dear.
I do, let me land. I do follow what an opinion pool is and what in-depth research means. But I'm saying that on the basis of this, how much premium do you want us to put on this? For me.
The premium is for us. We need that data to do our modeling and predictions.
Right.
That may not suit what you want. You can go there and do what you want and publish.
Okay. Would it be fair to tell somebody that this person is not performing from your report, and then people take their MPs on? Would that
opinion
attack on an MP be justified?
Look, the bottom line is that these opinions are coming from the constituents. That is what matters.
Right. Well, Mr. Dankwa, let me ask you this this question. So, with what you've done already, with the feedback you're getting, at least from somebody like Dr. Asante, maybe others are thinking on that tangent. Doing another, opinion poll, will you variate the, modalities used to get the outcome the next time around?
No, I said that we there for our own objective.
Right.
If what we're going to do extra will not serve our objective, we will not waste time and money on it. Okay. Those who want a different outcome, there are parliamentary network for whatever. They do a comprehensive assessment of MP's performance. It's for a different purpose.
Okay.
Ours is for a different purpose. But the fact is that those views are coming from the constituents, not coming from me.
All right, let me go to Clement Akolo. He's Communications Parliamentary Network Africa. Clement, seeing what the findings of this poll is, and also hearing from Dr. Asante, how do you think this will impact on the work of parliamentarians or those who have been, assessed in this poll?
All right, thank you very much. I think we must congratulate Dr. Musa Dankwa for the polls. and I have followed him. And some of the questions that we wanted to ask, I think Dr. Asa Asante has also done justice to that, because it was a bit, we were discussing in the office and we were a bit taken aback about some of the results. But Dr. Musa Dankwa has explained himself. It's an opinion poll, and there is some utility in it that is coming from the constituency. So it is fitted for a certain purpose that they are pursuing. But when you come to parliamentary work, for it to qualify to properly be a performance for the members of parliament, then it entails more. We need some more to add to it to come to a complete picture of the performance of a member of parliament. Because one of the deficits actually is how the members of parliament are performing on the floor of parliament. Because the members of parliament have different roles that they play. They have the representational role, and then they have the lawmaking role and oversight roles and all that. So if we are doing a performance for the members of parliament, then we must have certain percentages allocated to some of these areas, so that in a rounded figure, we'll be able to know how the members are performing based on this particular criteria. So we will not fault Dr. Musa Dankwa for what he has done. He is doing it for a particular purpose. Now it's a lead to some of us, and then also to the members of parliament themselves, to know that it is not just enough to be in the House of Parliament, contribute to what is going on the floor of Parliament, but also they should look out there up to what is happening at their constituency level, because some of their ratings, because some of them were very surprising to us, because some of the members of Parliament that we think are performing well are very vociferous on the floor of Parliament, contribute to lawmaking and all those things. Some, surprisingly, had a very low rating at the constituency level. So which means that there is some utility in this particular poll, which they must take a very critical look at.
Well, from what I'm hearing, then that means that the constituents are not, for want of a better expression, ignorant of some of the duties of their parliamentarians, and so may not be able to assess them properly on what they're doing, but just about the issue of visibility. This now brings us to a question of how you're going to make the constituents aware of what their parliamentarians are doing, and not to just restrict them to just the floor of parliament. How do you intend to do that?
Yes, actually, we've been doing that, but you know, we must step it up more. That's why we've been running some, they call it town hall meetings with members of parliament. So we try to run the constituents by some of the things that their members of parliament are doing, by going to their constituencies and then getting some opinion leaders there, share with them what has happened and all that. But we must also know that with the polls that was run by Dr. Musa Dankwa and his people, the question, the context of the question is also very important about what their members of parliament are doing on the floor of parliament. But the question that was put to them was, what is their opinion of the performance of the member of parliament? So in that case, are you asking him about what he is doing in his constituencies with regards to road, health, or what? Or are you asking his opinion based on what he's doing in parliament? So if you don't go into details to ask those questions, the person could be subjective in his answer.
Well, let me ask you this.
So this becomes a lead for, yeah.
So, you know, Musa Dankwa is just doing an opinion poll, and he's asked constituents how they think their MPs are performing. But you are also telling us that you do these town hall meetings to educate the constituents on the work of their parliamentarians in parliament. From where you sit and the kind of work that you do, what do you think a constituent would define performance as? From where you sit, what is the definition of performance to the constituent?
So the constituents, most of the time, they are more interested in what is done at the constituency level for them. So at the constituency level, they feel that the member of parliament is an agent of development. So he should be able to help them see development in their constituencies. And also, when it comes to employment and all those things, they expect that the member of parliament will assist in that. And these are some of the education that when we go, we let them know that when it comes to hardcore development in your constituency, it is not the member of parliament that is supposed to do it. And it is the district chief executive and the municipal chief executive that are supposed to do it. So what we do is that we try to bring what is done in parliament to them and try to explain the processes of lawmaking and the input that they are supposed to put in. And we must say that, I must use this opportunity to say that the ongoing exercise with the local government and rural development committee is doing with the district chief executives and
we seem to have some situation where the Akolo's Zoom
municipal chief executive. Okay, it's a very important the constituents to what they do for them as development proper, so that that burden on the shoulders of members of parliament could be shifted to the district chief or its proper place, so that the members of parliament work would properly be seen.
Job with that, then the opinion poll here shouldn't be a problem. The question that Musa Dankwa has asked is, what do you think the performance of your MP is? And if you say that you're doing this work with the constituents and they understand that the performance of the MP goes beyond standing on the floor of parliament, then indeed you're giving a fair representation of what it is their MPs are doing. Do you not agree?
Yes, I agree that we are taking it a step further to ensure that that is done. But you know, it is something that has been ingrained on the minds of the constituents for a long time.
Right.
So it will take time for them to fully understand that particular role. And this is something that we have chosen for ourselves. We must all help to make it work.
All right. And let me give the last words to Musa Dankwa and Dr. Asare before I let you off. What would be your, Asante, forgive me, what would be your last words on this issue before I move on?
Well, yes, my position still remains that, yes, I concede and I know that when you are looking for opinions, yes, it can also, it's part of research, but it doesn't do away with what relevant questions, because then opinion, what type of opinion are you looking at? Just anything. There might be a few questions to elicit a certain response so that you can talk about. That said, also, all that we need is that if you are talking about what your opinion polling, it must be made distinct from what performance appraiser, like their performance, MP's performance. Once you say that's performance, then people want to go into what goes into the details. So maybe your methodology, if that is what you want, performance, the methodology must be varied to be able to elicit the type of response. Otherwise, a mere normal opinion that you want, you get a normal answer, but how much premium can you put on that and use it? Yes, you may have your objective, you want to use ABC, but the public, who are the ultimate consumers of that information, how much premium do we want to put that? And based on that, assess our MPs in the light of that. That becomes what? Something that Mr. Dankwa must always factor into his calculation.
Right. Mr. Dankwa, what will you want to say to that?
You know, our work is geared towards elections. Elections and elections. And for the people who matter, who decide who goes to parliament, they look at how visible their MP is locally. They look at what his level of advocacy in terms of developmental issues. So when we ask them to assess the performance of the MP, I think they are doing so in the following context. Does not matter the theory, doesn't matter how good you are on the parliamentary floor. That doesn't get many MPs elected. In fact, those who are elected in parliament, sometimes they lose their seat because they lose the connection with the people. They are too busy in Accra doing parliamentary work. So the views of the people and how they see you is what will tell you in Parliament, not the other comprehensive one that people will do. That will help you to see overall, in terms of governance, the various rules of Parliament. But in terms of how do you get to Parliament, win your seat, it is these views locally that determines that, and no any other.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time on our desk. And Dr. Asa Sante and also Musa Dankwa, who's done this poll, indicating the performance of your MPs. Moving on, residents within the Krobo enclave in the Eastern region are protesting that earlier story brought to you. They say that government has neglected their roads. They attribute the halted progress to the change in governments, and some residents spoke to JoyNews. I understand Kwame Yanka is with us now with a clear line. So Kwame, what is the latest on the grounds?
Okay, so Mamiesi, we are currently at Odumasi, where the protesters are expected to present their petition to the district assembly, as it were. For them, the deplorable nature of the road has a number of poses a number of challenges, including health concerns, economic-wise, among other things. For them, the drastic nature of the road have led to some increase in respiratory cases, as it were. So they're expecting government, or per this protest, peaceful one, they describe it, they would want government to begin work on the strike to ensure that the health concerns, the economic challenges they are facing as a result of the road are addressed. But some drivers, according to the protesters, are charging twice the fare simply because once they get here, well, their vehicles will break down, they are buying spare parts, they are visiting the mechanic shops every now and then. So they expect to bring pressure to bear on government as far as this very protest is concerned, and expect government to heed to its word by commencing work on the stretch.
Right, thank you. But Kwame, has there been any response from government officials in the area?
Okay, so as I said earlier, currently at Odumasi, where the protesters are expected to present a petition to the district assembly to, as it were, address these challenges or concerns raised in the petition. So I believe by close of the assembly would respond to any issues they would have as far as the private nature of the road is concerned.
Right. Thank you very much, Kwame Yanka, for that update on the Krobo enclave there. Residents protesting on the deplorable nature of the road. You're still watching JoyNews Desk. We'll take a break. We'll return with business. But right about now, Michelle is in studio with business. Michelle?
Thank you, Mamiesi. Now let's do some business stories. Now, Fitch Ratings has cautioned that the profitability of Ghanaian banks is set to weaken considerably due to the impact of materially low interest rates on net interest margins. Now, Fitch Ratings, however, pointed out that the profitability will remain high by regional standards and continue to be a strength of the bank's standalone credit profiles. There's more in this report.
According to the UK-based firm, inflationary pressures have decreased significantly due to the Bank of Ghana's tight monetary policy stance, Ghanaian cedi appreciation, fiscal consolidation, and an improvement in food supplies. Headline inflation declined to 9.4% in September, the lowest level in 4 years, from 11.5% in August. According to Fitch Ratings, this encouraged the Bank of Ghana to cut the monetary policy rate by 350 basis points to 21.5% in September, following a 300 basis point cut in July. It expects inflation to moderate further in the near term, averaging 8% in 2026 and prompting further monetary policy rate cuts. Meanwhile, money market yields have declined significantly over the past year, with 91-day Treasury bill yields down to 10.2% in September 2025 from 25.1% in September 2024. This is due to excess liquidity and lower government cash financing needs.
Part of activities marking EcoBank Day 2025, the bank has commissioned upgraded digital learning centers at the Kete Krachi School for the Deaf at Ajay-Kojo in the Tema West Municipality and the Bishop Sam Memorial Basic School in Takoradi. Now, each center comes with 26 computers, internet connectivity for 3 years, and a full set of teaching equipment to enhance digital education. There's more in this report.
In a world powered by technology, every child deserves a voice, even when that voice speaks through their hands. At the Kete Krachi State School for the Deaf at Ajay-Kojo, within the Tema West Municipality of the Greater Accra region, EcoBank Ghana is helping shape a new digital future for the deaf learners. As part of its 2025 EcoBank Day celebration, the bank has commissioned 2 ultra-modern digital learning centers, one here at Ajay-Kojo and the other at Bishop Sam Memorial Basic School in Takoradi in the Western region. The initiative, worth 2.2 million Ghana cedis, forms part of a 3-year campaign under the theme Transforming Africa Through Education. Abna Osepoku is the managing director of EcoBank Ghana.
So this year, we are changing that. We are making sure that children are not left behind simply because you learn differently. Thanks to new technology, especially assistive tools and artificial intelligence, we now have more ways to break down long-standing barriers. These innovations are helping us build more inclusive, supportive, and empowering learning environments. For example, a child with visual impairments can now access a lesson using text-to-speech software. A student who struggles with writing can use speech recognition tools to express their ideas. AI-powered tools can even help teachers plan lessons better and better understand each learner's needs.
The project is backed by EcoBank's partners, including the Ghana Code Club, which will train tutors and the children in sign language adapted coding visuals. Here is founder and chief executive officer of Ghana Code Club, Ernestina Pia.
For this center, we are introducing sign language adapted coding visuals, hands-on AI demonstrations, and sensory-based learning activities, allowing deaf learners to interact, build, and create technology in ways that suit their learning styles. The impact of these digital centers go far beyond computer skills. They will nurture a generation of young innovators and problem solvers who can apply technology to address real-life challenges, from community development to entrepreneurship.
Headmaster of the Kete Krachi State School for the Deaf, Isaac Arthur, expressed deep appreciation to EcoBank.
To setting up this beautiful digital learning center for our deaf learners. In fact, it's going to have a positive change on the children. It also gives them future employment. It also help the teachers, to help them to prepare their lesson notes. The deaf themselves, they can also use the ICT without any interpreter, and it's going to help them a lot. And so we thank them. They did well. So on this note, we want to also ask the rest of the financial institutions in Ghana that they should emulate the good work of EcoBank.
Unit Head of Education for the Hearing Impaired at the Ghana Education Service, Gloria Team, representing Director of Special Education Division, commended EcoBank for supporting inclusive education. Meanwhile, EcoBank Ghana's brand ambassador, King Promise, also donated assorted items and pledged to sponsor the university education of the 2 best performing students from the school in the next BEC.
I heard the Director of Education say you have 2 students who actually came top 2 with regards to the BEC in Ghana. So in my own personal way, apart from what EcoBank has done and will continue to do, apart from the little donations that we brought, I want to pledge that the best 2 students for the next BC, I'm going to take care of your university education. So for myself, as King Promise, my team 5-star, I don't really say too much. I just like to perform, so I'll keep it short and simple. That's my pledge, and I hope that I continue to inspire you guys. And whatever I'm doing, believe you can do it too. You can aim for the top.
Observed across 33 countries, EcoBank Day 2025 in Ghana focused on giving every child, regardless of ability, a fair chance to thrive in a digital future.
And that'll be all for business. I am Michelle Ejekum. For more business news, please log on to myjoyonline.com.
And as always, we're grateful for your company on the decks today. We'll be back tomorrow with more news. Thank you for your company.